Hey, everybody. It's Greg Colossal and a little chat time. I wanted to leave behind a very important memory on video here. It was years ago, and it was a moment in my life where I saved a baby's life. And it was a story that I want to tell. I don't know. It's because it was one of those extremely dramatic moments in time. So let me tell you about it because it's going to help me a little bit. Um, I had with me one of my teachers, Alex Flanagan. We went to Whole Foods in Glastonbury, Connecticut, and we were eating dinner before rehearsal. We were going to have a Madrigal Feast rehearsal. So we're in Whole Foods having dinner, and there's a woman behind Alex. I'm looking at Alex. We're sitting across from each other, and behind Alex is a woman holding a baby who I would say was about 15 months, 20 months, somewhere in there. Actually, a little bit younger. I don't think the baby could walk or run, so maybe between 8 and 12 months. I'm not really good with that stuff. Anyway, all of a sudden she starts screaming, "Help!" And it becomes very scary very quickly, and she's screaming about her baby is choking. Now this baby is only 6 feet away from us, so I immediately stand up and grab the baby. I have no CPR training. I am no nurse, no nothing like that. But I'm able to stay more in control of myself than she could because she's so overwhelmed with fear, and it was crazy. So I grabbed the baby and I literally put him in with one hand. I start smacking his back. Okay. No, actually, I start doing what would be a version of a Heimlich maneuver. I'm holding him head up, face up, and I'm pushing just under his rib cage, hoping to make him gag. And this isn't working. And this is time is passing, and he's turning blue. Okay, so then I flip him over, and I start striking his back really hard, as I'm holding him with my other hand. He's very tiny. She is screaming. At the same time, a female nurse runs up to me and starts to tell me that I'm doing a great job. Now, I am not a nurse. I'm a piano player. So I'm looking at this nurse and I'm getting a little bit enraged because the baby is dying in my arms. He's turning more and more blue. Alex is a little frozen in time. She's young. She's got to be 22. She's a little bit frozen. The mom is out of her mind screaming, like hysterical. She's got to be probably 30 years old. I'm probably 38 years old at the time. And this female nurse is not doing the thing. She's not grabbing the baby and doing her thing. She's telling me that she can't do that because she's afraid of getting sued. Can you imagine this? She's afraid of getting sued. And I'm like, now this is all in conversation while I'm holding a dying baby. So I'm not sure of what to do. But the nurse is like, "You're doing great. You're doing good. Okay, you're doing good." And I'm like, "Grab the baby. Lady, you're a nurse. Help me. I'm a piano player." She would not grab the baby. This was in the Whole Foods cafeteria in Glastonbury. It's not even there anymore. They don't even have this big sit-down area anymore. So I'm still not saving this baby's life. All of a sudden, I turn him over and I start really pushing. I take my hand like this and I start pushing on his back between his rib cage and really driving my palm into the center of his back. And out pops a piece of pineapple and he starts breathing again. Big breaths, crying. He was blue. He was dying in my arms and I was not qualified to save his life, but I did. The The pineapple flew out. The nurse walked away as if, like I'd never seen anything like it. Alex and I were completely traumatized. We were like zombies. It was crazy. But the worst thing about this whole experience, it's something that I've learned makes the difference between men and women. And it really, I never really got over it. After this stressful, traumatizing moment, it took minutes, and this scary thing and the success of the baby spitting out the pineapple and the baby breathing again, this mother grabbed the baby from me in a hostile way and ran away. She didn't say a word to me. She didn't say thank you. She didn't say, oh my God. She didn't say praise God. She literally grabbed the baby and ran away as fast as she could. And I was disgusted, and I was shocked, and I learned a lot, again, about female nature. Remember, there's a female nurse right next to me who will not save the baby for reasons that she mentioned that were legal. I'm like, you're worried about you would let a person die, and you're worried about imaginary lawsuits, and oh my God, what a loser you are. And then his mom, she grabbed the baby and ran. Now everyone has tons of excuses. Everyone loves to protect women, and I don't, I guess I should too. But I was like, what? Who am I? Look at what I'm talking about now. Alex is completely innocent. She was young, and she's not involved in this. She was just watching. Now at the same time, somebody called 911. Thank God someone called 911. It wasn't me, it wasn't Alex. And as we made our way out of the store through the doors open electronically, the cops with like paramedic bags are running in. They're running, trying to save the baby. And her and I are walking very slow. I'm completely out of my mind. I don't know what you would call it. Traumatized? It's not the right word. But the adrenaline has gone away, and now I'm like slow motion. So the Glastonbury police run by us and are looking for the baby, and we don't say a word. I am so confused and off of the adrenaline, crashing, that we get into the car and we start making our way to rehearsal. I believe rehearsal started at 6:30. This is probably 6:10, 6:15. So I get in the car and I go, let's not tell anybody about this. And she goes, right. But I didn't know what I was really saying. I just didn't understand what was going on. It was a very strange crash from a high level of intensity that I was very clear when I was saving the baby. But 10 minutes later, I was crashing, and it was totally adrenaline. I could tell you now, I know what it feels like. So we drive to rehearsal. The cops, we don't say anything to the cops because I just want to go. I don't want to tell you the truth, I'm so perplexed that the mother ran away with her baby that I thought I was just so uncomfortable. It was a really unique, life-changing experience. So we pull into BackBeat City, and Alex is a teacher in a sense. She's not in the show. She's helping rehearse the show. And she said, and I looked at her and I go, oh, I think I got to say something, because I'm pretty messed up about it. So I walk into rehearsal, and just like a child, because I couldn't really, it's really hard to do the arts, to rehearse, to sing, and to lead, and to do all this stuff, and try to be funny and make up comedy, and have a burden like that. So I told the kids, they're high school, I said, hey everybody, you won't believe this, but I just saved the baby's life. And Alex like, you just saved the baby's life. It was crazy. And it was crazy. We both released this energy, and it felt supported. And the kids were like, no way. I'm not sure they believed us, but it was real. Okay. So that was I'm pretty proud of that moment, but really it didn't feel like pride after. I wasn't even aware that I saved the baby's life. It took me a few days before I could say out loud, oh my God, I saved the baby's life. When I went back to Whole Foods, which is a great place when you're single to eat because they have fresh food in a buffet for, not a bad price. It's usually really good quality food. So I would get hot dinners there and sit there and eat it and get a seltzer. So I went maybe 2 days later, 3 days later. And would you know that all over the cafeteria are these signs about choking, warning about choking, what to do if someone's choking. Just, I mean, that nurse wasn't that far off. I might have been mad at that nurse, but within 30, 40 hours later, they were covering their butts with choking hazard signs all over that cafeteria area. Way more than you need for, to see on the walls. So that's a true story. That really happened. I'll never forget it. And this is the difference, which I was trying to tell you. Like when you're a man, it's a very lonely world. It's really, really crazy. Not that women don't live in a lonely world, but if there was a dad there, and I saved that baby's life, that father would have praised me in a way. He would have tears in his eyes. If he couldn't save his own son or daughter's life, and I think it was a boy actually, then he would revere me for 10 minutes or maybe the rest of his life because of the difference, like I always say, between men and women. It isn't like women are just very, very self-preserving for that very reason, because they have to care for a baby. So they cannot go, and you get upset when you're a man because you're like you're not that way. You're the opposite. We are the provider protector guys. You know what I mean? We would make a decision that women don't make on the regular, because women are hardwired to protect themselves at all times because they make humans. It's not something to be mad at them for. I had to learn that in that moment when my ego was like, that was so scary for me, lady. You think I do that all the time? Maybe you mistaken me for a firefighter. I'm a choir director. I play in the key of G, amazing, but I don't save lives, but I just did. And my ego, this is how you see the frailty of a man, like I'm describing, frailties of a woman. I just wanted to thank you or something, and I didn't get that. And then again, the female nurse who was spot on. I didn't like her delivery, but she was right on, because within 40 hours, the signs were up. She knew very well about liability and death and all that stuff. And so I was angry at her in the moment because of my adrenaline. And 40 hours later, I'm like, well, that was a smart woman. She understood things that I didn't want to admit were real. And the best part of it is that Alex was watching it. Alex saw the whole thing, because it took a little while, weeks, sometimes months. And then I was like, did I? And she was like, yep. I was like, I did, huh? She's like, yep. And, that's one of the beautiful things of, having people around you. And so I wanted to put that out there, because I wish that woman well. And I'm sorry that I was so hard on her in my mind. I never said anything to her. And I'll never forget the feeling of watching her run down the aisle with the baby, if you know what I mean. Like going, I don't know how to describe it, but when the registers are all lined up and you're choosing a register, it was that aisle that she was running down with her baby. And I didn't think about it enough because I was very selfish. She was probably ashamed. She was probably scared. She probably did not know what to do in a moment where it was that scary. And I'll tell you the truth, I didn't know either. When I put my finger in his mouth and down his throat and couldn't feel anything, I was like, oh my God, this kid's gonna die. This kid's gonna die right in front of us. Because I put my finger so far down his throat that if that piece of pineapple was somewhere near his lung, opening or something. It was crazy far because I knew I put my finger so far down his throat. Anyway, that's my save a kid story. That's a true story. And if that woman is out there, I'm sorry I was so hard on you. And I would still save your baby today. And if you didn't thank me, it would be okay. I'd go buy myself a smoothie. So yeah, pretty crazy moment captured in time.